All right, welcome everyone back to another Shopify tutorial video. This one is an updated version of Shopify, the latest and greatest operating system here. Today, what we're going to talk about is how to set up your Shopify payments. So this is for anyone who's starting off on their store and they just want to make sure that they could collect payments anytime that they have a sale. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Of course, if you're new to this channel, make sure you go ahead and check out the subscribe button or press the subscribe and give that good thumbs up. And also check out the description of this video. I have some links that will also help you out if you found this useful. But let me know down in the comments if you have any issues based on this video. So let's get right to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and say we're at the Shopify admin. We're at the Shopify admin and we want to go ahead and start setting up settings. Over here, we go to the bottom left-hand corner where it says settings. We want to set up that payment system. And we're going to go right here where it says settings, click on that, and then we're going to go to where it says payments on the left. And so as you can notice right here, we have different methods on how we could accept payments. We're going to go through them each one by one, but the most popular one that you notice is Shopify payments. So before we dive into this setup, right, let's go and understand first who does this pertain to? Who is eligible? So right away, I want to say that there are several supported countries where Shopify payments is acceptable. I would say that check out this list right here as of today's date or 2024. You could see that these are the primary countries where Shopify payments is supported. So if you do not see your country listed here, there are other options for you that I could go ahead and share with you afterwards. But for the most part, if you're from this country or any of these countries, then this video pertains to you. Aside from that, just make sure that you are selling regulated things, not anything that's prohibited or anything of that sort. So Shopify's Help Center could tell you a little bit more as far as what you can and cannot for the Shopify payments. But aside from that, if that's okay with you, understand that these are the different types of payments that you could accept. Also understand that for every credit card that is processed online in your store, whatever it is of the grand total, including taxes and shipping and all that stuff, Shopify is going to take 2.9% plus 30 cents for every transaction. Those are the credit card processing fees, 2.9%. Now, 2.9% is based on Shopify's basic plan. Depending on which plan you have of Shopify, this plan could change. Let's take a quick look at that. All right, here's the page. And we're going to focus on this chart real quick because it's very important for you guys to understand this. So depending on which plan you have, right? You might have the basic plan. I think a lot of you guys are doing this, or you guys might be on the middle plan if you guys have a stronger business. But as you can see right here, the credit card rates do change depending on your plans that you have. So to start off right here, everything that's online is at a 2.9% for this plan right here. But if you're on the mid plan, your percentage does go down. In other words, you get to keep a smaller percentage more for every credit card extraction. And then finally over here, we have the advanced plan where they have the lowest rate. I think the one who has the super lowest is the Shopify Plus, but those guys are paying almost like $2,000 a month, right? But this is important over here. People don't talk about this part right here. Let me show you. Shopify payments. So they all have the fraud analysis. Credit card rates I already spoke about. But then look, pay attention. Amex, those who are using American Express, you're going to pay higher, right? You're going to pay an additional 1% on that basic plan plus 30 cents, right? And then so on and so forth, it gets lowered there. So very important. If they pay by Amex and you're noticing that lesser money is coming in, just understand it might be because of that. Let's see, in person, this is like if they're doing a transaction online right in front of you. But most importantly, this one, third-party transaction fees. If you're not using Shopify payments, what is this, right? So this is what this means. So you guys know that Shopify, they want you to use their platform, which is Shopify payments. But alternatively, let's say if you use PayPal, right? There's a lot of people that like PayPal, and this is where they get you. They say it's a 0% transaction fee, which is true. PayPal charges you nothing in this particular case. At least that's what's being shown here. But pay attention. Over here, Shopify is saying that if you're not using their Shopify payments, they're going to charge you an additional 2% for each transaction. So this is kind of a good deal. So if PayPal's not charging anything, at least as of this video, and you could expect that Shopify is going to charge you from that. They're going to charge you that 2%. Of course, the deal gets sweetened. If they use PayPal, you only get charged that 1%. And then over here, barely anything, right? So just make sure that when it comes to PayPal, that this is not just a temporary deal. Make sure that this 0% is ongoing. But if this changes, just understand that, let's say if it's 1%, then it's whatever percentage of that plus this. And then that's where things could get expensive. So you guys might wonder, well, should I enable this or should I not? Anyways, let's get back to this. So Shopify payments, let's go ahead and start this process. Let's go ahead and complete the setup. And right here, it's going to give you kind of like a walkthrough towards what you can expect. There's going to be definitely some private information for you to fill out over here. Let's go ahead and submit some of these details. First thing that it's gonna ask you is, what is your business type? Now, I am not a CPA or a legal attorney or like tax representative to tell you which is the best one that you should choose. But if you're starting off this business on your own, in other words, you're doing business as your name, or you're, tax as a sole proprietor, then go ahead and do this one right here. I believe a lot of people might start off like this because they're just testing waters. But if you've already went ahead and started your LLC, you've already registered with the IRS. This is all pertaining to those who are in the States. You've already done the steps for the IRS. You created your bank account already with the LLC, right? I know that sometimes that's a little bit of a process because you have to go to the bank. You have to prove to them that you got a website already and so on and so forth for them to even create a bank account with that LLC. Just make sure if you've done all that, click on this one where it says LLC. And then from here, it's going to ask you for your business information regarding that LLC. So it's going to ask you for your EIN. You go ahead and put that there. Then the address is according to how you've registered to the EIN. So if you registered your business to the government using a specific address, just make sure you put that here. Afterwards, it's going to ask you for more personal information, such as your first name and last name, job title, date of birth. See, there's a lot of personal stuff, as well as your social security number. If for whatever reason there is more than one owner, you have to specify that same information with the other person. But if you're the only owner, you could just leave that checked right here. Next up, what business industry are you in? What are you selling? Are you selling softwares? Are you selling retail? A lot of you guys might be selling retail, drop shipping or anything of that sort. So if, whatever it is that you see here that is more connected to what you're selling, make sure that you choose that there. And then it's going to then subcategorize to find more deeper, well, what is it that you're selling? So if we click on retail, for example, right here, it'll drill down to what type of retail are you? Okay. So let's pretend that we're selling home goods and furniture. Then right here, what it wants you to do is just explain your business, like exactly what is it that you're selling. Sometimes your branding statement might work here as well. So just go ahead and be as descriptive as possible towards what you're selling to the public so that Shopify could read this and understand your business better. Then finally, we have customer billing statement. So you check on your website and you see your transactions. This is what it's going to come out. Make sure that it's clear, right? Don't put Shopify or anything like that. Put in your store name. If your store name is too long, try to simplify it so that people understand what it is. You can make it all uppercase, however it is that you want, but make sure that when people check their bank account and they notice that your store is there, that it's clear, that it's super clear. Because if it isn't, then chances are people are going to be like, yo, what's this? And then they call their bank and they'll be like, chargeback. I don't recognize who that store is. Give me my money back. And then when they create a chargeback on you, it's a nightmare. So make sure that this statement description is very, very clear. Then a phone number. This phone number, think of it as the CEO's phone number, not the public phone number for the business where all customer service gets the call. So this is the CEO's phone number right here in case if Shopify needs to contact you. Let's go ahead and make sure that your local currencies are enabled if you're in the US, but otherwise you could learn more over here. And then you could go ahead and check that out, right? So then by doing so, it'll submit for verification. It'll send over to Shopify. And typically that's pretty quick. It shouldn't take too long in order to get that processed. Then afterwards, two-step authentication, make sure that you have that added. This is for accessing the Shopify admin. make sure that you add this information in here, as it's very important for your security. You don't want anybody to just jump into your store and start hacking all your sales. And then finally, you have your bank information, the bank where you want the money to go to. Where once you get paid or once you get a sale on Shopify, what bank account should that go to? Now, if you guys are just starting off again, it's perfectly fine. If you don't have an LLC in the beginning and you're using your personal bank account, that's fine in the beginning. But once you start seeing those sales start to come in, that's when it's chop for you, and go ahead and to your local bank or whichever bank that you want to and ask for a business bank account. Once you get that business bank account, go ahead back over here and update that information so that it goes into your business bank account. Now, let's say all of this stuff is set up. This is all ready to go, and you've done everything that you've had to do. Shopify payments typically takes about 2 to 3 days in order for it to send you money. The first sale is always the longest because you're going through that verification process, like I told you, and Shopify wants to make sure that you have followed up with the sale that came in and that you've already given them the tracking number. So this is very random, guys. This is not something that I could give you one answer for everybody and everybody it works, okay? Just understand that if you're a type of business where, let's pretend you're selling hair extensions, Shopify Payments probably knows that that is a very risky niche and there's a lot of frauds, there's a lot of this and a lot of that. You might get rejected not because of your business, but because of how Shopify Payments understands that industry, that it's very high risk. So please understand that not all accounts will be accepted. For the most part, it would, but just pay attention that if verification takes a little bit longer for that money to come into that bank account, just understand that it's not you. It's probably the industry that you're in, or Shopify is waiting for you to go ahead and put that tracking number. What if it's drop shipping? If it's drop shipping and those folks from China are taking almost 2 weeks in order to submit that tracking number, just make sure that everything is A-okay on the front end, on the back end side. Also, you don't have to necessarily wait for the money in order to pay the drop shipper. You could go ahead and come out of pocket so that those drop shippers could hurry up and give you a tracking number so that you could copy paste it into Shopify. Shopify could see that you've already done what you've done and they're going to start paying you faster. But if you're super slow on and you don't want to pay that money to the China folks in order for them to drop ship the products to your customer, that can cause delay for you to get your money. So just remember that part. All right, next up, PayPal. So what I recommend for you guys to do is to go to paypal.com, right? Go to paypal.com and create your own account for the business. All right, create your account for the business or create a separate account just for that business. Make sure that if you're on this screen right here, you open a new tab. Not like how I did over here where I open a separate tab. Open a new tab here and make sure that you've logged in into your PayPal account if you've already created one. Do not close that tab. Could just simply come back over here after you've logged in and then click on where it says activate PayPal. What this is going to do is that it's going to detect that you already have a PayPal account, and just by a simple button, it'll just connect it, and it's super easy. It'll bring all the information from PayPal over into this system here, and it's done. It's very, very easy. The only complicated part, as I mentioned, just make sure that on a separate tab you create, right, a PayPal account with all the information that it's good to go, including your bank information and such, and then go ahead and just press activate so that it knows that you already have one. Awesome. Now that you've done that, we have other payment captures, other systems. So right here, you have other methods as far as when to capture the payment. This is unique to its sense because you might want to like accept the credit card but not process it. Like think of it like you're at a store and you have the POS system in your hand and someone gave you the card. Someone gave you the card but you didn't swipe it. You get what I mean? You're just holding on to the card, right? So this is when you could go ahead and say, I want to manually process the checkout. I wanted to just kind of like chill there for a little bit until, you know, I feel comfortable or until I did a background check on this person to make sure that they're not a fraudster. That's what the manual process means, right? So typically everybody sets it up as automatically at checkout or when the order has been fulfilled, so on and so forth. So you could go ahead and play around with that as you see fit. We have manual payment options. Manual payment options, again, not so popular. Like, I don't see too many businesses doing cash on delivery or money order. Bank deposits, that gets a little finicky. It depends on your business, but this is just there just in case. But just understand that there's other payment providers, right? There's other payment providers, meaning that you're not obligated to do Shopify payments if you don't want to. If you don't like how they do business and you're like, no, I want a different credit card, I have my own. My bank, when I went to my bank told me that they provide merchant services. And when they offered me their transaction fees, it was super low. It was like at a 0.7% for every transaction, right? And so remember, Shopify, they say, we're going to charge you 2% if you don't use ours. And you'll be like, yeah, that's fine. Because at the end of the day, you know, my 0.7% plus your 2% is 2.7%, which is less than this, right? So you might have a better deal with your bank. And if that's the case, right here, create a custom payment method, okay? And then you could just go ahead and follow those instructions. The only bad side about this is that it is a little bit cumbersome. You might have to work with the bank in order to get this set up. So it's not super easy, but for some businesses, this works out perfectly because, you know, they have their own, fraud detection system. And when it comes to chargebacks, they're more on your side, where Shopify becomes Switzerland. They're like, oh, we don't know. They don't like to choose sides and stuff like that. So, or they might pay you faster too because of your relationship with the bank. That's another thing. But aside from that, guys, that's pretty much it for Shopify payments. If you have any questions about payments, please let me know down in the comments. If you like this type of tutorial, please let me know also. And until next time.